What's up, everyone? Welcome back to No Cap Space. It is deadline day in the WNBA. The trade deadline is coming up at 3 Eastern, and we have another deal. I can't believe it. I can't believe we're actually going to do this for a WNBA trade deadline. It has never been this electric. This is trade number 3. We're setting high marks here, folks. Tyler, Greer, Andrew, here to break down Aaliyah Edwards returning to the state of Connecticut.
Nutmeg State.
Come on now. It's the women's basketball capital of the world. And now Aaliyah Edwards is back. Look at that beautiful No Cap Space graphic. You should go and follow on social media so you can go and see all those. But Jacy, Sheldon, and a first round pick swap that might honestly be, how do I put this lightly, the most boring pick swap of all time, because it's Minnesota and New York. So it's just one position in the draft, which we've seen obviously people trade up for one position. So it's not meaningless, but it ain't the craziest pick swap of all time, But this is an interesting deal. Obviously, Aaliyah Edwards has been in the kind of rumor mill for a while now, actually, when it comes to being on the trade block. I think there was kind of a couple different routes this could have gone in terms of her potentially going to more of a contending team to be a solid rotational piece in the immediacy, or more of a rebuilding team like we see here with Connecticut. Obviously, Dallas was kind of a name that was thrown around as well, just as teams that are willing to take a flyer on a good, productive young player that has found herself outside of the rotation. But I want y'all's thoughts on this as well. Greer, as our local Husky, the Husky going home to Connecticut. Just your initial thoughts from an Aaliyah Edwards perspective here.
I mean, I think it's probably going to be great for Aaliyah, but honestly, TBD, this is a team that also kind of has a crowded front court.
Yes.
So it is kind of weird because obviously she was getting no minutes, hasn't played for the Mystics in their last 2 games at all, never saw the court. But in Connecticut, you already have obviously Tina Charles, you have Olivia Nelson-Ododa, and you have a player that you drafted in the first round, and Denise Morrow, who actually back half of the season so has been excellent as a first round pick for them. And then in addition to Sanaya Rivers, who's not really a guard, right? She's more of a wing / forward in this league. So you have interesting young pieces, and Aaliyah is just a part of that. But again, kind of a crowded front court. So where does the opportunity come from? It likely comes from reducing Tina Charles's workload, right? Because there's no reason.
Tina working.
There's no reason why she should have been playing 35 minutes a game at this stage in her career on a team that is in the bottom 2, right, of the league. So you have to assume that Tina's going to get a little bit more rest here toward the end of the season. So again, this is an opportunity for Aaliyah to show that she always should have been in the rotation in Washington, that she is that caliber of player. I think they drafted her 6th last year, right? Is that right?
Yeah. High up for sure. A legitimate resources spent.
She went right before Angel, right? Or
it wasn't right. Not right before. It was.
She went 6th, I believe it was last year.
I'll keep going. I got you. Hold on.
Yeah, but yeah. So yeah, I think this is a could be a really good opportunity for her. I think Mezion has showed that he will play young players. You will get an opportunity. And so it's about seizing that opportunity if you're Aaliyah Edwards.
I think this is also Ono insurance a little bit. When you look at what the contracts are on this Connecticut Sun team right now, Sanaya Rivers, Anissa Morrow, Layla Khan, Rhea Marshall are all cost-controlled rookie deals that are going to run through 2027. But when you factor in Aaliyah Edwards, you now have another cost-controlled contract that runs through next season, and believe it's a team option. It's a team option as part of her first-round pick in 2027. So realistically speaking, they could have a core of Sanaya, Anissa, Aaliyah Edwards, Lacan, and Marshall, 5 of them locked on contracts under $95,000 a year through 2027. And when you factor in what is going to happen with the cap spike when the CBA inevitably comes, and I'm going to say cap spike is a certainty because I think no matter what, the number is going to go up. It's just a matter of how much higher the number goes for these players in terms of their salaries. But this really sets you up well because the rookie scale is probably going to increase too. So you're likely to end up with that entire core on extremely discounted contracts into 2027. So whether it's the Mohegan Tribe or someone else that owns this team, realistically speaking, you could go big game hunting for free agents this coming off season because you have 4 or 5 really good players that are already going to be on contracts that are going to eat up a marginal percentage of your cap. So I like this deal for the Sun. I agree with you, Greer. I think this probably cuts into Tina's minutes a little more than anything else. I love the backcourt pairing and UConn reunion of Olivia Nelson-Ododa and Aaliyah Edwards. I know that I'm sure Gino and Chris Daly are stoked to see them back together in a front court with one another. But I also think that this does fill a need because I think while Morrow has been amazing, she's still 6'1". She plays bigger and longer than she actually is. But I think just in terms of pure height and matchups, I like the idea that you're getting another 6'3", 6'4" player to pair with Olivia Nelson-Ododa there in the front court. Like that balance of like Tina Charles and Morrow, who I think is a really good winning rotation. And now you have an Ono Aaliyah front court that you can also kind of pair that with for a different type of look, maybe a little more of like a traditional back to basket type of big look with a forward and center in those two. I think that's great. I think it adds to the youth movement that Connecticut's doing. It's clearly I don't know what the equivalent of like Scott's Tots is for Rashid Mezion, but we're getting there. This is a core now of 5 players that's 22, 23, 22, 21, and 21. So it's very obvious Connecticut is building here for the future. I like this for them in a lot of ways, and I think it kind of continues to reaffirm what we thought they were going to do at the start of the year, which is really lean into the youth and rebuild. And then Washington does the same thing. You lose Brittany Sykes, you gain Jacy Sheldon. And Jacy's kind of a weird thing because she's been traded twice now. Jacy's a really good rotational player in the league. Like the trades to me are not an indictment of her ability. She's good. She was good in her rookie year in Dallas. She's been solid for Connecticut this season. She's going to do really well on this Mystics team. And the Mystics, once again, going all in on youth movement. And this makes the Sykes trade look really nice in hindsight because it shows that it's an organization that's kind of listening a little bit. You have a 31-year-old guard who is not going to fit into your future vision. So you offload her, but make sure she's going to a competitor and someone where she has the opportunity to win a ring. And then you turn around and you flip it for another young player that fills a position of need. Like Jamila Weideman, man, we got to give her some credit. She and Kurt Miller both have absolutely been cooking at this trade deadline. And the Mystics deserve a lot of credit from looking a little bit dead on arrival. And even coming into this year, I was ripping them a new one because I was like, why would you want to try and copy what the Wizards are doing? Like that's the worst sentence that anyone's ever uttered in sports. But as it turns out, like they have a very clear plan of what they want to do here.
They're going faster with the Mystics than they are with
in one season. It didn't take long.
The Wizards got to say we got to be doing what the Mystics are doing.
No,
and it also, but to your point too, Tyler, like about what we said on the pod about this being like our WNBA version of like the Sam Presti Oklahoma City Thunder. Like the Mystics are kind of once again doing moves that kind of prove that they are seeing what others are not. While other teams are trying to go heavy into building, contenders now, Washington is building a contender for 2027 and 28 and 29. And I love that from them.
Yeah, I'm completely with you. I echo a lot of the sentiments on Aaliyah Edwards as well, is in terms of like, I like it from a Connecticut point of view of like, get a young player, let's see what we got and let's see if this is part of the future. It's not the, we'll call it like open runway in the sense of like, I agree that it's not as bad as Washington, I don't think, in terms of the log jam and like the opportunity there, just because it's just different, but it's not the open runway I kind of hope for. Like personally, I wanted to see her in Dallas really bad, honestly, and like fill that kind of 4 position and like, just because they don't have that natural there in that position, just to see what it works with. But from a Connecticut point of view, it totally makes sense to go in and try and see what you have in Aaliyah Edwards. Absolutely. And from that Mystics point of view, I know I Jacy Sheldon is really good. Like is a very genuinely solid point guard. And Lord knows the Mystics need point guards, right? Obviously, Georgia Amore gets hurt at the beginning of the season. That was going to kind of be in that role for the Mystics this season. You don't have her. What I love about this, though, is yes, it's another young player for Washington, but it's a total foil to what Georgia Amore is going to bring. So, like, if for one reason or another, whether it's putting them on the court at the same time, whether it's just getting a different thing, like if however it works out, I like the variance that they're finding as well. Like, you are truly kind of guessing and checking makes it sound like it's not a plan, but it almost is kind of like guessing and checking your way through this roster and figured out, okay, like what does a Lucy Olsen point guard run look like? What does Jacy Sheldon? What does Georgia Amore when she's back? And I love that. And I'll tell you, when we make the Thunder comparisons, I think the biggest thing to me is that it's not because the Thunder were such a unique case with the draft picks and everything, but there was always one quote that has stuck with me and completely shifted my team building like ideology when it comes to rebuilding, is when Sam Presti said like a couple years ago, is saying, when we make it back to the playoffs, we want it to be an arrival, not an appearance. And I think that too many teams in the WNBA look for appearances and not for arrivals. Washington is building themselves for an arrival. Whenever they make it there, whenever they make it to the point where this team, this core develops into a genuine playoff team, I'm not saying they're going to go win the championship in their first year, but they're going to be legit. It's going to be an arrival with any indication of how this team building is going. And I feel like there's such a fear to go into that mode in the WNBA where you rebuild, like a genuine, true rebuild. And Washington has faced that fear, looked it right in the eyes, and said, lose us some games. And I love it. I absolutely adore it. And Jacy Sheldon, to me, is the exact pickup. And again, I think to your point, Andrew, this is not an indictment on either player. This is truly like, to me, a perfect fit situation for both teams. Like it's not the most electric trade. It's not like, but this, if you told me that this is a trade we look back on where both of these players genuinely become contributors for both of these teams, and it's a win-win scenario of genuine, solid players for both of these teams, I would not be shocked in the slightest. And so
there was a point this year where Jason was shooting 50, 40, 90.
Yes, right? Like legitimately good.
Didn't have a ton of like attempts, but again, just crazy efficient. And like nothing, I mean, not that Washington's offense is ever going to be centered around her, but again, you talk about the future of like having Amore back. Obviously, you already know what you have, and it's Sonia Citron. Like Jacy's numbers could tick right back up.
Dude, Jacy and Sonia on the court at the same time.
Yes, this can make Sonia's life, like we know today, right? She's the number one option on this team. This can make her life so much easier, especially like the back half of the season where she's going to be number one on the scouting report, right? For every opposing team, kind of just that buffer, right? Where it's like, I do have a counterpart in the backcourt who you do have to watch. Like, so I love it too. And just kind of like protecting Sony for this later part of the season when all eyes are very much going to be on her.
Yeah, no, it's a trade that, again, I just like it all around. Again, it's not the most electric trade. It's not good. It's not some league changing trade, but it's one that works for both teams. And I feel like that's kind of been the story of this trade deadline, just across the board. None of these trades is anyone just getting absolutely cooked by any means. Like, it's teams that may be at different points, like in where they are in their trajectory. But every trade has pretty much seemingly in the initial reaction has made sense and has worked out for both teams. So I'm excited by the activity. I'm excited by the moves being made. Again, I think every team is genuinely like making moves that excite me for one way or another. I love this. Shout out to a deadline, an actual trade deadline.
First time in a while.
I know, it's like we've come so far from Marina Mabry being I keep cooking Marina. I feel bad because I keep bringing her up as like the benchmark of the deadline, but like no shade. But yes, we're here in the war room today. I know I'm gonna be sitting right here. I ain't leaving. So if there's any other trades that go through, we're here. We'll have you with your emergency reactions. But to make sure you don't miss it, make sure you're tapped in here on the YouTube. Subscribe, click the bell so you're notified every time we drop a video or go live. And of course, all our social medias, you can find everything down in the description below, along with our home field collection, where you can use code NOCAT15 to get 15% off your first purchase. College season is right around the corner. Be ready, be ready, be ready. That's all I got to say. Until next time, we'll talk to y'all soon.